Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss about respiratory changes during exercise. Now whenever we exercise, there is going to be increase in work done by muscles and other tissues. Now that is going to require lots of oxygen as well as nutrients. At the same time, it is also going to produce lots of waste products as well as carbon dioxide. So our body is going to respond to it and make some physiological changes to keep all these parameters within normal level or normal range. Now there are going to be two systems working predominantly, that is cardiac system and respiratory system. So today we are going to discuss about all those respiratory changes. Now main two things are going to happen. First is there is going to be increase in respiratory rate and there is going to be increase in depth, that is increase in tidal volume, and both of these together they are going to increase in respiratory minute volume. Now during heavy exercise there is around 20-fold increase in oxygen consumption and carbon dioxide excretion. Because of this there are many changes seen in respiratory system. First, there is increase in pulmonary ventilation. Second, there is increase in diffusing capacity. Next is there is change in ventilation perfusion ratio, and there is also shift of oxygen dissociation curve. Now all these changes, they are made in order to meet increased oxygen consumption as well as to remove excess carbon dioxide. All these changes, they are within physiological limit. Let's start with first, that is increase in pulmonary ventilation. So now when we are about to exercise, cortex, it sends excitatory impulse to the exercising muscle, and at the same time this cortex, it sends impulses to the respiratory center also, and that is anticipatory. What it means is that the signals, they are sent to respiratory system even before beginning of exercise to rise in ventilation. So ventilation is increased even before exercise is started. Now when exercise it actually starts, sensory impulses from muscles and joints, they are also sent again to respiratory center, and these impulses along with impulses sent from cortex stimulate respiratory center, which in turn causes increase in ventilation. Now during exercise, ventilation mainly increases due to nervous factor, this nervous stimulus from cortex as well as muscles and joints, and this increases ventilation to a required level, and therefore concentration of carbon dioxide and oxygen in the blood is maintained normal during exercise. But suppose if ventilation is not changed to required level during exercise, then there is going to be change in level of partial pressure of oxygen and partial pressure of carbon dioxide in blood. Partial pressure of oxygen, it will decrease, and partial pressure of carbon dioxide, it will increase. Now as we have seen in regulation of respiration, these chemicals, they are going to act on chemoreceptors. Partial pressure of carbon dioxide, it is mainly going to act on central chemoreceptor, and partial pressure of oxygen, it is mainly going to act on peripheral chemoreceptors, and by acting on chemoreceptors they will make further required changes in ventilation. So we can say that nervous factors, they mainly regulate ventilation during exercise, and if some final and finer adjustment are required in ventilation, then chemical factors are going to do it. Next effect of exercise on respiration is increase in diffusing capacity. Now diffusing capacity of lungs for gases, it increases about 3 times during heavy exercise. Now this increase in diffusing capacity, it is mainly due to increase in surface area of respiratory membrane. With increase in ventilation, surface area on alveolar side, it is going to increase, and due to increase in blood flow, the surface area on capillary side, it is going to be increased, and because of the increase in both side of this, there is going to be increase in diffusing capacity of gases. So optimum exchange of gases can be done. optimum amount of oxygen is taken as well as optimum amount of carbon dioxide is excreted. Next is change in ventilation perfusion ratio. So gaseous exchange becomes better because of change in ventilation perfusion ratio to normal, and this is specially seen in upper part of the lung during exercise. Now normally, because of decreased blood flow in this region, that is in upper part of the lung, ventilation perfusion ratio, it is higher than the normal. Now during exercise, blood in upper part of the lung, it increases, and therefore ventilation perfusion ratio is brought to near normal. Now the blood normally remains in the lungs for longer time than required, so blood is oxygenated completely. Even it happens before blood reaches to 1/3 of capillary distance, and that provides safety factor. So therefore, even if the rate of blood flow it increases during exercise, still the blood it gets completely oxygenated. Next effect is shift of oxygen dissociation curve. Now whenever we exercise, there is lots of production of 2,3 DPG. Now we know that whenever there is increase in 2,3 DPG, it is going to shift oxygen dissociation curve to right, and because of this there is going to be increase in oxygen release from hemoglobin at the tissue level. Now we also need to discuss certain other important aspects like the intensity of exercise and how it is going to affect respiration, as well as the changes during exercise, before exercise, and even after exercise. So let's start with first. Now, as we have already discussed, nervous factors, they increase ventilation even before exercise starts, that is in anticipation of exercise. Now during exercise, these nervous factors, they work as well as increase in partial pressure of carbon dioxide and decrease in partial pressure of oxygen. These both chemical factor, they are also going to increase ventilation. Now during exercise, if the intensity is different, then the changes in respiration, it may be different. Now if we discuss about how our circulatory system and respiratory system works, then oxygen, it is picked up by blood from lung and then it goes into entire body, and this oxygen, it is distributed into different cells of our body, and from there carbon dioxide is picked up and it goes into venous system, and from there it goes into lung, and then from lung it expelled out of body. Now in order to this carbon dioxide to work on our body's chemoreceptor, they have to go on arterial side. If they are directly expelled from lung, then they are not going to stimulate our chemoreceptor. So in case of mild to moderate exercise, there is not going to be much increase in ventilation because this carbon dioxide, it is going to be washed out easily. But in case of heavy or strenuous exercise, when carbon dioxide is released from cell into venous system, it is going to be more in amount, so it will not be washed up by lung very easily. So some amount of carbon dioxide, it will come back again onto arterial side from heart, and this carbon dioxide in arterial side, now it will go into central chemoreceptor and there it will stimulate. So we can say that different intensity of exercise, it will also impact level of change in level of ventilation. Now one more thing is that effect of exercise on respiration after it is completed. So in case of mild to moderate exercise, there is not going to be much change, but in case of severe or strenuous exercise, even after exercise is completed, body will require more amount of oxygen. The reason is during heavy exercise, more amount of oxygen is utilized, as well as sometimes anaerobic respiration is done, and that will create oxygen debt in our body. So in order to repay that oxygen debt, even after exercise, our body, it will have to consume more amount of oxygen till this oxygen debt is repaid. With this, we finish our today's lecture. Thank you.